Hey guys, I've got a really interesting kit here for you guys today. We've started carrying a new line of educational toys. And the OWI kits, or OWI kits, I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce them. They're all pretty neat, but this one really caught my attention and I wanted to make a video about it. It's a 3-in-1 transforming kit. It kind of reminds me of the old Lego RC car stuff. Apparently it can turn into a forklift, a rover, and a gripper, which is the main configuration you see it in on screen. The rover kind of reminds me of like a tank. Now, is this kit going to be something your kids can put together? That is entirely going to come down to, do you trust your kid with a knife? Because the plastic bags that this stuff came packaged in was not necessarily kid friendly. If you trust your kid with a pair of clippers, like a set of Citadel clippers, or any kind of a flush clipper with the flat back on them, then they should be able to get into the bags just fine, as well as cutting the pieces off the sprue just fine. You could pull them off of the sprue, but I get the feeling that the pieces are going to work much better the more flush that they can be removed from the sprue. That having been said, a lot of these parts are individually packaged in individual baggies to try to help keep things separate. It did not come with any tools, so you will need a screwdriver for smaller screws, probably a set of needle nose pliers, like I said, some flush cutters, maybe an X-Acto knife, and hopefully those are all the tools that you'll need. You may want to use a nail file or a piece of sandpaper to kind of flush down some things and get the sprue bits off, but for the most part that should be all that you'll need. Now, I want to make something very clear. I'm not going to be doing a step-by-step in this video as I normally would with most model kits, and that's just because I've taken a look through the instructions and this kit is very extensive. Making a video where I put the whole thing together, even if I were to play it back in high speed, would just take far too long. So I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to make this video as you see now. We're going to go through the parts real quick and take a quick look at the overall mold lines and quality of the piece. And then I'm going to cut to the end when everything's done and show you how well it all works. The tank tracks, including the sprues that they're on, are made on this nice super flexible rubber. The battery compartment is a relatively cheap and plastic type compartment, but it's all done with these connector types. Anything that's electrical, including circuit boards, are all done with this. So even any kid of any age, as long as you trust your kid to put together higher end Lego kits or that sort of thing, they should be able to put this together by themselves. It all seems to be made out of this nice super tough, I'm assuming ABS plastic based on the feel. This is something that a small kid can actually hold on to, or even someone of my age, operating the controls. It's not going to be difficult. And just overall, there's not really a lot of mold lines on any of these pieces that I can really see, and the ones that are noticeable I don't feel are going to be getting in the way. So overall, all in all, this seems like it'll be a really fun and really easy kit to put together, and it's not anything that you're really going to need a whole lot of skill power to do. So in the off chance that your kid decides that they don't want to put this together anymore, or that it's too hard, or that mom and dad need to help, this is definitely something that mom and dad are going to be able to jump right in and help out and get it done. It's not anything that's going to be overly complicated. And a lot of these parts are what I like to call cookie cutter parts, so even if your kid cuts things out in the wrong order, odds are you'll be able to figure out where it's actually supposed to go and get it together in the end anyway. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump in, get this together, and then we'll cut back when I've got it done. Okay, so the total time that it kind of took me to put this together was roughly about 3 hours. That was with doing other things, so probably about 2.5 hours is what you could reasonably get this down to. The transforming mechanism actually involves pulling pieces apart and moving things around. However, it seems to be fairly straightforward and easy. I found in my testing that the forklift was pretty solid, as well as the grabber that you see here as its main transformation. It holds things fairly well. Good, nice, strong rubber grips. It is a little on the loud side, I do admit. But it does spin on a dime, and it climbs pretty well. If you had larger objects, you can pick up the front, or even lower the front to go over the top of something. All in all, I mean, I think it's a pretty great little toy. I know me as a kid, I would have just been head over heels for something like this, but I'm sure that any child that is into this kind of electronic construction, robot, or anything like that, like, your kid is going to really enjoy something like this. The hardest part was getting the tank treads onto the actual crawler itself. That may require a little bit of adult supervision. There's a bit of a trick to putting the tank treads together as well as getting them on. And if your kid just doesn't have the physical tensile strength in their fingers to do it by themselves, you're definitely going to have to help them for all of them, simply because it is that tough. They are all kind of on there real tight. So if your kid can't get the first one on, you're going to need to sit there and help them do all of them. But no, all in all, this was an excellent toy. I think this is a real winner. This was a great kit, and any kid who's always taken their toys apart and wondered how they worked, this is a really, really great kit for them, because it really helps them to understand how it works as you put it together, as well as when you transform it into other things. So all in all, I would give this kit easily an 8 out of 10. I would give it a 9 out of 10 if it had come with tools. The only reason I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 is just due to the fact that it did take an absorbently long amount of time to put together compared to some of the other toy kits in their line, as well as the fact that you do have to pull it apart to transform it into the other bits and bobs that it can do. However, I feel like for those who are really technical know-how, like anybody who's really into this sort of stuff, you could probably make something pretty cool out of 2 or 3 of these kits. All in all, though, I think this was a lot of bang for its buck and was really good value, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video.